Morning, everybody. So I'm going to get out here in the small garden, do some weed control. But I've started doing some of the weeding yesterday, and I was pleasantly surprised. We were talking about the okra last time that I planted in the garden, and that none of them came up. But as I looked yesterday, these are some okras coming up in here. It's a little bit spotty. There's some more okras coming up here, and some more okras up here. Then we come over here. There's more okras over here, more okras right here, another one there, and then a whole lot of weeds in between. So I started weeding out the garden yesterday, but I came yay close to pulling up those okras. And let me see, did I pull up this one? Yep, I did. So I'm going to try to put that one back in. I think that was probably one of the first ones I hit when I started weeding with the hoe, not realizing that it was an okra. But we'll go ahead and get that back in the soil. The root looks intact, and it hasn't got that direct sunlight, and I did water, so I'll put some dirt back around that root. Hopefully that will come back in, but I will get all of these other weeds pulled up and get as much done this morning before it gets too warm. So let's go ahead and get started with this bad boy. Well, I've finished that bit of weeding around the okra plants. Now it's much more clear who the okras are. I'll be taking a break right there. I have a few, I guess some of those weeds had some prickles on them, and my glove has a big opening right there, so I got some pricks in my thumb, and the other glove has some holes in it. Well, I've got new gloves in the house, but as all you who garden know, your old gloves, you already break them in and they fit so good. You just hate trading them out. But you can see even in that finger there, there's little holes everywhere. And as I weed, I was getting pricked continuously. But the main thing is, I've had people ask me, how long you stay in the garden? How long you do this? How long you do that? And I expressed to them, hey, I have a full-time job and I do all this, but you don't have to come out here and spend all day. You know, that right there probably was about 15-20 minutes. You can just partition off your garden in your mind and just say, well, okay, this morning I'm going to do this afternoon I'm going to do that, tomorrow morning I'll do the next, and you just section yourself through, and by the end of the week you've done it all. So that's what the okra plants is looking like. They're much more defined now. There's that one that I accidentally pulled yesterday because it was just weeds everywhere. So these two here are come up. This guy here is up. There's an okra over there, some okra right there, and another okra right here. So later on this evening I'll probably do a little bit more weeding over here. Now we come here, these are the tomatoes. Tomatoes are doing really good. Another one there. This guy is just trying to come up. He's been a little slow in growing, but he's coming up. So what I need to do now is go and get some cages. Well, I have some cages over at the big garden. I'll bring them and put on these okras, so as they grow, the weight of it doesn't fall them over. Now another thing, in my other video I said I'm going to get some Miracle-Gro. As you can see, I put some Miracle-Gro down. But what you do, you do not put it directly on the plant or the base of the plant, because it could burn it. So here I put a big, probably like a 1 foot radius, well, 1 foot diameter, maybe a 6-8 inch radius around the base of the plant, and then I'll just water that in and let the water take that down into the ground to the roots. But again, a lot of people, you may want to think, well, I'll put it right here on the plant, at the base of the plant will get maximized. But nope, you will burn it and could stun the growth or potentially kill it. So again, 6-8 inch radius around the plant. It will water down into the root, and the root system will be able to pull all the nutrients from it. So that's what we're looking at. Let me get those cages. I'm not sure, there's 8 tomatoes. I'm not sure I have 8 cages, but let me go and check and we'll see. So this is all the weeds I just pulled this morning. This is just a 5-gallon Home Depot bucket. I've got it halfway, 3/4 full of weeds. My handy dandy cutlass. Some folks call it a machete. We call it a cutlass. And that's what we're looking at, folks. I have installed the tomato cages. That's always a good feeling. Whenever you feel as if your tomatoes are really going, then you put the cages around them. Now these are the traditional cages that you'll buy from the grocery store or the hardware store. But what I've done through the years, just some old hog wire fencing, I just unroll some of it, cut it off, make a big loop, and make these here. These have worked very well for me through the years. Now I will get some anchor to anchor the base down. I have some of those anchors from the material you spread across your garden to keep the weeds away. You put some anchor to keep that material down, so I have a big bag of those. The good things about these guys is they just sink straight into the ground. But these chain link fencing, no, not chain link fence, but hog fence, they do not. So you have to anchor those down for when you get some heavy wind. Now this little guy here, I didn't put anything around him. I'm just going to see what he does. But everybody else is at a level that I'm comfortable putting a cage around, and they will be getting up and going pretty good. So one correction, earlier I said Miracle-Gro, but this is what I use. Dr. Earth Pure Gold Organic and Natural. So silly me, I call it all Miracle-Growth. But this is the product that I put around my plants. It's organic and natural. And also when I start getting pests, bugs, I spray them with neem oil. Neem oil is also organic and natural. So no heavy pesticides. Just try to keep it as organic as possible. Right here, I'm going to add another little fixture to this garden. I took this from over at the big garden. I really haven't used in a long time. But now that I had my seedlings on the sidewalk by the house, I said I'll bring this over here. So with all the wind, I'm gonna go ahead and clip this onto the fencing. So I've got these straps. I'll strap it onto the fencing so my table won't blow away in the heavy wind. So just like that, I've anchored it in these two spots. When you come around here, I've anchored it again in these two spots onto the fencing. So that table isn't going anywhere. Now what I put on it may blow off, but that'll be a whole lot better place than having it over there on the sidewalk. So let's get those over here. So there you have it, the okra that we had started in the cups in the windowsill. So 3 of them are catching. Well, these 3 are doing pretty good. This one is starting to catch. These other 2 petered out on me. So that's coming up pretty good. So I'm glad that these 4 are coming up, but we still have okra coming up in the garden from the seeds. So we're off to a good start, folks. So another look at the garden. It's starting to come together. It's starting to look pretty good. So as we push through the summer and it really starts to fill in, you'll see a big difference than what we started to where we will be. Looking good. Let's get her done.